Despite headwinds, Indian electric two-wheeler market is reaching new peaks, and the market is considered to be largely electric scooter market, but in that space we have started seeing the emergence of electric motorcycle. One new brand that is going to be catering to the mainstream market is Oben Electric, and to talk about what is Oben Electric plans, we have with us Madhumita Agrawal, CEO and founder of Oben Electric. Thank you, Madhumita, for joining Autocar Professional. Help us understand, you've recently launched your new bike. What are the plans?
So I think, as you rightly said, we are in the mainstream electric two-wheeler motorcycle, which is like 70% of the market, right? Whether it's domestic or global. So I think our plan or the agenda here is getting into each segment, because if you break the motorcycle segment, it's 100cc, 125 and 150. Right, that's what, and with our new launch with the Rorr Easy, that India rides easy, I think that is the 125 segment which will cater, and our flagship product, which is Rorr, which is in the 150cc segment. So it's like our plan is to give a handsome looking bike to the Indian consumer, which is looking at a high-tech product and also want to look good, on the bike. So that's the whole agenda there.
Now help us understand, motorcycle as a category is still a niche when it comes to electric vehicles. Who, according to you, is an electric motorcycle buyer, and what will differentiate Oben from some of the other alternatives that are emerging in the market?
Yeah. So I think this buyer, if you see, is a daily commuter, because for using for its day-to-day activity. Which is also looking at a smart purchase. Right. He's not ready to compromise on anything else, like design, features, riding, because motorcycle has a very specific expectation, right? If you look at, like, there has to be a performance, right? He or she cannot compromise on that. Right. So I think this consumer is very clear in the head that I'm looking for a bike, a motorcycle, for my daily commute, which should solve the purpose. And also the design aspect, I will not compromise as a consumer, and it has to also be in my budget, right? There are different categories, so you have to, as an OEM, you have to cater to that. Right. So this consumer is looking at a smart purchase, a good-looking product, for which meets its daily need requirement, and also which is friendly on the pocket. Wallet. Yes, and eventually also the end goal, sustainability, where they are kind of is a icing on the cake. Right. That's how.
Now, we've seen multiple headwinds when it comes to electric two-wheeler market. I mean, the variation in FAME subsidy, larger players spending big money. There's already a price war in the scooter space. How has Oben's presence so far been in the electric two-wheeler market? What are your aspirations? And how do you see the company in the next few years' time?
So I think definitely subsidies have helped, what kind of adoption we have seen till date, and which we really didn't, as an industry, didn't calculate, right? It would be that fast. I think all thanks to government for that, thinking through it and kind of bringing that. I think now what for us as a OEM, we see that definitely having a product line for every segment. Right now, we are in some of the major markets like North, Delhi or Pune. We have presence, Bangalore, South. And then moving forward, what would be two aspects? Bringing definitely a good product is one sense. Another aspect, very important, which comes in automotive is your service. Right? How do you give that customer experience? How do you build that trust? Because it's a product which is like, for me, if my bike doesn't work in the morning, I'm stopped for the work, right? It's a very critical aspect. So these are two aspects that, yes, you give a good customer experience, you take care of the customer, build that trust, which as a new brand is very important, because we are not any of those, legacy player. So these will be two focus for us: expansion in different markets, put your foot right there, and then also focusing on the customer experience, service, after sales. I think that would be another very important gamut for us.
So what's your presence like at this point in time?
So we are right now in Delhi. Delhi, we have almost 4 stores. Then we are in Pune. Some of the major markets we have picked to get that, customer sense. In south, we are also north, we are in Jaipur.
Right.
Then we are south, Kerala, Bangalore.
So you're taking a city-based approach,
Yes,
cluster-based approach.
Yes, yes.
What's the expansion plan like?
So right now we'll be kind of coming up with by the next quarter, you can say 50 more stores will come up.
Lovely.
And it will be like again north concentrated like UP.
Right.
Then we'll go to Gujarat.
Right.
Then MP. Central also we want to have that experience because every customer is different, right? In south we are planning Hyderabad, we are planning Chennai. And then, of course, looking, as I said, every customer is different. So our learning will be also in that process, and then that's the plan.
So what volumes, 2024, how do you see it ending, and what's the scale-up plan like? What volume aspiration or what business plans do you have? Say 3 years from now, how would you see Oben Electric in the market?
So what we are planning right now is that by the end, from now to the 12-month period, we should come at planning of 1,000 units per month kind of exit volume.
Right.
And that is how our ramp-up plan has been also made on the distribution side.
Right.
But our more focus would be that each store level, how do we do?
Right.
That is a metrics which we follow. You might have, kind of 10,000, 20,000 bikes on road, but at each store level, are you really making money?
True.
The average. Right now, like if I can put across a number, on an average, we are like 15 units per store as a start.
That's phenomenal.
Yes, that is outstanding. Where you will take any other players, they are like with one model. When we were, Rorr Easy has just come with one model. And that is the focus.
Right.
I might
doing business sustainably.
Exactly. That's what is needed. That's the need of the hour, and that's the hue and cry all over, right? Globally also. I think that is what is our approach. That store level, how do I do? My store should be profitable,
right.
And also bringing that inclusiveness to the consumer.
Right.
That you as a brand getting that trust there and building that.
Right, right. So, so far you must have relied on funding. I mean, how much have you raised so far? What's the plan like as you scale up? Would you need the next round of funding to scale the business? What about portfolio expansion? Because even as you are at the back end more efficient, yet it's a capital intensive industry. You need to kind of spend money. So what's the plan like?
So definitely as startups, as you grow, you need money, right? So one point to be definitely, I'm very, proud to, say about my team and the kind of approach we had. We have been super capital efficient. So till date, whatever, we have raised almost 11 to 12 million. And that is where we are, with 2 products out there, all vertically, that's the, actually that's the mindset we have. That's the DNA, right? We have to make a sustainable business.
Right.
But that doesn't hold us like we will not expand. Correct. Definitely there are expansion plan. There are, we are looking at almost like 50 to 60 million infusion in next 2 years. Right. That's the plan on the funding side. Right. And for us, the approach is that definitely test out, like for us, export is also a plan which we have, which will be part of this funding, infusion and all
expansion
that.
Of portfolio as well?
Yes, definitely. There is, we have been, announcing that we have, 4 products which is lined up. Definitely you will get to, get those news and all. But right now 2 products we have. One is in the 150 and one
4 more in the offing.
Yes, yes.
And you intend to retain yourself as a motorcycle specialist, or you intend to get into scooters as well, which is a crazy price war right now?
Yes, yes. I think right now we'll be, we specialized in motorcycle.
Mainstream motorcycle market.
Yes, mainstream. And I think there is a huge need, gap still there because of the, motorcycle segment being more complex. Very interesting part is, though EV has been made like it's very easy to kind of do it, but it's a very complex product. The restriction in EV, the weight restriction, bikes can be very heavy in IC, it's fine, right? The engine can be big and all. But the biggest restriction in EV is you cannot have a heavier vehicle. And you have to give a range, you have to give a performance. So that's a big engineering complexity and problem to be addressed. I think we will specialize, we'll get better and better in this segment.
Just last question, how do you see the market evolving? We are at about 13, 14.
So I think motorcycle is just taking off.
Just
because yes, it's just starting because motorcycle segment itself has this customer has a very different expectation, right? because performance, there is a lot of design aspect. It's more a aspirational kind of thing. Even a 150cc Pulsar also is a aspirational product for that segment, right? So I think I see that by end of, like, as we all are talking about, 2030, it will be almost two-wheelers will shift completely, which I don't agree to, that it will take time, because there is a lot of
What share do you expect?
So I think it should be mostly, if you see, coexist, but 25% we are there. 25%.
I think that's a realistic expectation.
It will happen, and that is happening already. And 25% of the market is very good enough to, as a
large scale.
Large scale, and the kind of country we are, the kind of policy, or the kind of even the infrastructure and everything we have, and laws and everything. So I think it's a very
You emphasize a lot when we were talking earlier about the role of smaller towns and cities.
Absolutely.
You believe in that. So do you think the approach should be also to cater to the smaller towns and cities?
Yes, definitely.
Beyond the metropolitan?
Definitely, because that is where the petrol price is pinching.
Right.
Let's be very honest about it. That is where the customer, and that is where also the the status part I mentioned.
Yes,
that
matters more.
Really matters a lot. In my apartment, who is riding what? I'm just least bothered about that.
True.
But when you go to even I have come from that kind of a city where even when my dad got 100 CD 100, that was like, oh wow, red color. Oh, they are having this. I think that is a very emotional thing.
Absolutely.
And as a brand, you have.
Does that become your priority then, or it's across?
It's across. We'll start with bigger cities, like as we have planned.
That's where the throughput is more.
Yes, and then eventually, like 125cc definitely caters to that. Then we get into the next segment, which is again price kind of 100cc segment. I think that will cater to more rural,
right,
where you have a basic product, but of course little good looking also, not that, but cost.
Now, really, courageous goals to cater to an EV with the 100cc rival. I really wish you all the best, and thank you for talking to Autocar Professional.
Thank you so much for having me. It was interesting.
Lovely. Thanks for your time. It was short notice.